It was supposed to be another carefully staged appearance to push her Netflix brand, but Meghan Markle didn't anticipate the sharp wit and unflinching candor of Graham Norton. Under the bright lights of live television, Norton called out what royal watchers have been whispering for months. Meghan's wardrobe choices for her recent Netflix promo bore an uncanny, almost carbon copy resemblance to Princess Catherine's signature looks. From the structured pastel coat to the pearl drop earrings, it was as if she had stepped straight out of the Duchess of Cambridge's closet. The audience erupted with laughter and gasps, leaving Meghan's composed smile frozen in place, the cameras capturing every flicker of discomfort. Norton, never one to shy away from a jab, highlighted the eerie precision of Meghan's style replication. He didn't have to stretch the facts. The visual evidence spoke volumes. For years, Catherine has been recognized globally as a fashion icon, her elegance understated yet powerful. Meghan, once lauded for her modern and bold fashion sense, now appeared to be abandoning originality in favor of mimicking the very woman she has often been accused of undermining. Side-by-side comparisons had already been circulating online, but hearing it addressed in real time on primetime television transformed quiet online murmurs into a mainstream talking point. The blow landed harder because Norton's words were backed by cold, unfiltered truth. Royal fashion analysts had been tracking Meghan's wardrobe for months, noting not just similarities, but identical styling techniques. From Catherine's famous tailored knee-length dresses to her preference for neutral-toned pumps, Meghan's Netflix appearances seemed almost like a curated tribute, though, without the acknowledgement. This wasn't a case of vague inspiration. It was precise imitation, right down to matching specific designers Catherine had popularized during high-profile royal engagements. For the British public, the moment felt like vindication. Many have long believed Meghan sought to eclipse Catherine in the public eye. Yet here she was apparently borrowing Catherine's signature aesthetic to lend herself an air of regal credibility. In the eyes of viewers, the move felt less like homage and more like strategic image laundering. Dressing like Catherine to project grace, authority, and connection to a monarchy she had so publicly distanced herself from. Norton's commentary simply said out loud what countless royal watchers had already concluded. The Netflix connection only added fuel to the fire. As part of her deal with the streaming giant, Meghan's appearances are meticulously planned for maximum brand impact. Every frame is designed to craft an image of refinement and influence. But when that image leans so heavily on another woman's hard-earned style identity, especially one who has faced relentless media comparison to Meghan, the result feels calculated and hollow. It was this performative nature that Norton exposed, his comedic timing masking a brutal dissection of Meghan's fashion choices and, by extension, her public strategy. Online, the fallout was immediate. Social media lit up with freeze frames of Meghan's outfit side by side with nearly identical looks from Catherine's past engagements. Fashion blogs that once praised Meghan's individuality began publishing headlines questioning her originality. Even international outlets picked up the story, framing it as yet another chapter in the long-running narrative of rivalry between the two women. The optics were damning. For a woman who often speaks about authenticity and living her truth, her style choices were telling a very different story. Meghan's defenders argued that clothing overlap is inevitable, especially among public figures who favor certain designers. But in this case, the sheer volume of similarities and the strategic timing of Meghan's Netflix appearances made it hard to dismiss as coincidence. To the casual observer, it looked as if Meghan was trying to visually insert herself into the royal mold she had once rejected, leveraging Catherine's established public appeal to bolster her own brand. By the time the segment ended, the damage was done. Norton's playful but piercing remarks had peeled back the veneer of Meghan's carefully managed public persona, exposing a pattern that could no longer be brushed aside as media fabrication. If Meghan hoped to use fashion as a subtle weapon in the ongoing battle of public perception, this moment proved the risk of playing that game in the public arena, especially when someone as sharp as Graham Norton is holding the microphone. This was not just a jab about clothing. It was a public challenge to Meghan's credibility. And as the clip made its way across television recaps, YouTube reaction channels, and TikTok commentary, one thing became certain. The conversation had shifted. No longer was this about style inspiration, it was about identity, authenticity, and the uneasy truth that in trying to outshine her royal counterpart, Meghan might have inadvertently confirmed her dependence on her. It was a moment that stripped away the carefully polished veneer Meghan had worked so hard to maintain. By echoing Princess Catherine's fashion choices so precisely, she had blurred the lines between rivalry and reliance, leaving critics to question whether her brand was truly her own or simply a repackaged version of what the public already loved about Catherine. This wasn't the defiant, independent Meghan who once broke royal tradition with bold silhouettes and daring colors. It was a woman seemingly tethered to the very image she once sought to escape. The irony was impossible to ignore. For years, Meghan's public narrative had revolved around carving her own path, distancing herself from royal protocols, and rejecting the constraints of palace life. Yet here she was, mirroring Catherine's style with surgical precision, as if borrowing that visual identity could grant her the legitimacy and admiration she feared losing. In doing so, she handed her critics a loaded weapon. Undeniable proof that despite all her talk of independence, she was still playing the royal comparison game. And on that night, under the bright studio lights, Graham Norton didn't just highlight the similarity, he made sure the whole world